I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. The invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed.
Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Johnny Cirucci. Be sure and watch my films. Doors of Perception is on Amazon Prime. Occult Louisiana is on Tubi, Apple, Roku channel, and more. We are booking guests for January. If you have suggestions or you'd like to be a guest, email me forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. Visit our website, forbiddenknowledge.news. It's the home of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, where we feature some of your favorite podcasts and content creators. Today I want to welcome Johnny Cirucci. He is a Marine, author of several books, and a researcher of hidden history and the hidden hands of global power. Johnny, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Chris. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thrilled for this discussion. You've done extensive research into the hidden ruling class. There's so many different perspectives about who these groups really are, what they represent. And in recent years, there seems to have been intentional revelations about the lower-level corruption to keep the majority focused on the surface-level information. But you've gone much deeper with your research. Looking forward to sharing it with the audience. Before we do, this is your first time on. Tell us a little about yourself and let the audience know how they can find out more.
You bet, Chris. You perfectly characterized the horizon there for truth seekers. My name is Giovanni Johnny Cirucci. I have taken my mom's maiden name, and I did that because of family issues and also in an effort. So when I first made this transition, I was trying to give protection, staying in the military, born and raised Italian Roman Catholic, a lifetime in the military, 20 years plus, Navy school, ROTC, which I dropped out of, Marine Corps and Army, and conservative values growing up, which is what put me into the career with the military. And I lovingly, but with anguish, call it conservatard now, because I'll tell you that coming from the right-minded part of the spectrum is so powerful. It should be so enabling, and yet we have cognitive dissonance that will not permit really the majority of people to open their minds to things like, well, maybe Donald Trump is a puppet, you know. Maybe we can't really vote them out. Things that are very scary for them. So I'm lifelong from the right side of the spectrum, but also Italian Catholic and born and raised Italian Catholic. And I was always curious about the Bible, but I never learned about it until I had a buddy bring me to his evangelical non-denominational church, which happens to be Calvary Chapel, Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I was going to college with this friend of mine. And I ended up becoming a born-again Christian. And that also, a brand new, that was January 16th, 1994, opened doors for me in mental and spiritual ways. And so this was the platform from which the background of back in the 90s, it was very clear to me, anyone with a right-minded view, that mainstream media, this is also just as CIANN, also known as CNN, the 24-hour news show, had just gotten started, and then all the other alphabet soups, the all-seeing eye of CBS and everybody else, PMS, NBC, they all just started to jump in with their 24-hour news services. And it was quite clear that they were all hard left. And then we were offered alternatives that within a few years became clear to me that they were not true alternatives. They were kind of gatekeepers. Actually, it wasn't until down the road that I became soured. Really was with the Obama administration. I was still in the service at the time. And it was the advent of Barack Obama. Clearly, the guy popped up out of nowhere to run for president of the United States. And there was obviously some skullduggery going on, culminating in the supposed killing of Osama bin Laden. And I've told this story a couple of times. I was at a division headquarters doing the job of an 04 as an 03, doing a major's job as a captain. And it became one of the reasons why I got out. It became clear that they were not going to promote me. So I was like, okay, screw you, I'm out. One of the many reasons I just hated. I really, my time in the military, so many things I wanted to do, Chris, and I did none of them. None of them. And all of these, you name it, across the board, tanks, fighter jets, special forces, and some of them I had. Now, I was an armor company commander through 2 company commands, which is unprecedented. And yet I sat on a tank like twice, once for cab school and once for a parade. Hated all the great things I wanted to do. I had an opportunity to get into special forces, and they didn't clear me past the pre-selection. And long story there. And honestly, I don't want to blow smoke up my own rear end. I mean, the bottom line is they didn't pass me. So whatever it is, they didn't pass me. But I did that. I did pre-selection with another guy, the young guy, that he and I bonded because we were both born again Christians, and he didn't make it either. And he was a machine. He could run and just never get tired. He was an absolute machine. So something that I was proud of is I never failed an event. And one of the big check marks against me, that this sergeant major was the first sergeant. I think. One of the things against me was he had pulled, and I was older than the rest of the guys there by a good 10 years. And he was like, well, the other kids there say you're too gung-ho. Wait, what? I'm too gung-ho. What exactly are you looking for? And this is an important insight into my failure in the bigger picture of the military as a whole, is I believe that part of the selection process is they want a way to manipulate you. They want that insane balance of peak physicality and yet mental weakness. And this was a disturbing surprise for me, because I had always idealized special forces as, the tip of the spear and they, what do they call them? The quiet professionals. They don't need to talk because they did it, right? Well, unfortunately, many of them, there are true believers, guys that are focused and have good morals, and many of them are Christians, but there are many more of them that are compromised. And this leads into how it is you can have, oh my goodness, the Irish Roman Catholic, what's his name? Robert O'Neill. That's one of the like 3 or 4 guys that shot bin Laden. I think it's like 10 of them. I don't know. They're like 10 different SEALs that supposedly shot bin Laden. No, I shot bin Laden. I wrote a book. No, I shot bin Laden. No, okay. How about this? Nobody shot bin Laden. You have the reason for the global war on terror, and your orders are shoot them on sight and dump them in the ocean, because we're all that stupid. I was in the service at the time, and my boss was a lieutenant colonel. Called me into his office and said, "Hey, close the door." Yeah, sir. What do you got? What's up? Well, I've got some connections to special operations community, and I just wanted to share with you that the story coming out 2011, this was, of the death of bin Laden is not legit. And I said, "Thank you, sir. I appreciate you sharing that with me." And I kind of saw that in the open source stuff, the news. And so, Chris, this is all part of my awakening, and this is why I left conservative media, the Rush Limbaugh and Irish Catholic Sean Hannity and an Irish Catholic Bill the Grabber O'Reilly and Jewish Michael Levin and Jewish Michael Wiener Savage. It was clear that those guys were holding back. It was clear those guys. I had questions, okay, and the blessed thing about that is that being a failure, being a malcontent, I had more questions than most people. So the government service in general, and the military in specific, they have a way of hooking you. You salute and drive on. You do what you're told, no matter how big a spoonful of poop it is. You swallow it down, you salute and drive on, get your promotion, and then you're locked in. And then you shut your mouth and do your 20, and then get your retirement. Take your shots, take your mandatory shots, where, be disappeared from your family. Your time, your life is not yours. And it works for almost all of them. And that's really government service, the police, the military. It's government service in general. They hook you. That's why these whistleblowers almost always are retired. And so being military, I look for that. Where were you? One of the biggest names in our community, a guy by the name of Smedley Butler, one of the very few Marines to be awarded the pentagram, the Congressional Medal of Honor twice, just like Italian Roman Catholic John Basilone. Twice, Smedley Butler. Smedley Butler didn't write War is a Racket until after he retired. Became a whistleblower on the DuPont war profiteering. Hey, that's good, General. Where the F were you for the 25, 30 years that you were in the Marine Corps? Now you're out and you're gonna talk about how the lives of Marines were wasted in South America for the assets of the Dole Fruit Company. Thanks, General. So me being a lifetime in the military, of having never accomplished anything I wanted to do, made me a malcontent, Chris, and it put me towards asking a lot of questions. And I was very angry with how the conservatard media was gatekeeping for Barack Obama. It's clearly now I was interested in the not born as an American thing, but eventually it became obvious that was more of a smokescreen and a dodge. I don't even know if it's true or not. It just was obvious that there was something bigger that was exploiting that idea to keep conservatives frothed up about something without ever giving them any real information on it. And I remember I have this New York Times clip of Barack Obama bragging about visiting Pakistan in the 80s. As a matter of fact, no, it's a debate. I want to say it was a debate that he was in. Was it with John McCain? John, the Vietnam War hero McCain, who was actually a collaborator with the Vietnamese, and the CIA held that over his head for the rest of his life. He was kind of incompetent. He rode on his father's shirt tails. His father was an admiral in World War II, rode on his father's coattails, his shirt tails too. And I think it was through his incompetence that there was an ordnance that went off on the Forrestal off of his aircraft. Really weird. But later on, he was shot down, went to the Hanoi Hilton, and I have inside information that he cooperated and collaborated. And so the CIA held that over his head, and he was the CIA's little bitch for the rest of his time as a politician, whether it was taking a dive for him and Roman Catholic born and raised Sarah Palin, evangelical Sarah Palin, took a dive for Barack Obama. And I remember a debate where Barack Obama was bragging about how going to Pakistan. And listen, you can go to Pakistan during the Cold War. No, you can't. You just check in with the CIA station chief, and they brief you and blah blah. Whoa! Really? Was this as a student at Columbia or beforehand? So I'm doing all this digging, Chris, and still in the Army, and eventually on my way out. But I come across, as I'm getting upset and disenfranchised with looking for information and finding only smoke and mirrors, I keep hearing Illuminati and globalists and Illuminati and deep state. I mean, it wasn't deep state back then, 15, 20 years ago, but it was definitely Illuminati and what are some of the other buzzwords? That was the big one. And I was like, oh, what are you telling me? So this is all nebulous. Okay. I'm a military guy. If you say I'm at war with the Illuminati, go get them, I'm going to look at you like, What are you talking about? How do I go get the Illuminati? All right. Tell me where. Who are the Illuminati? Well, turns out, Chris, this is done on purpose. This is done on purpose. The people that are really pulling the strings don't want to tell you. And if they give you any specifics, they're going to give you expendables, people who are expendable, like the Hebrews. Okay. They're going to, so it's very intuitive. If you think about this, it's very intuitive. If you have tremendous power, the very first thing you're going to use that power for, you got all the money, you own the government, you own the tech. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to make yourself disappear, right? The first thing you're going to just make yourself disappear. And then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to grab a patsy and shove him into the spotlight. Isn't that intuitive? Isn't that intuitive? And so I submit to you that this is exactly what's going on right now with the issue on Jewish people and how they are in the spotlight. And I don't understand how people can complain that Jews run the world and own everything. When you pull up major social networking sites, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, and it's all evil Jews. It's all evil Jews. It's shocking the level. And you, wait a minute, where's the Anti-Defamation League? Where's all this Jewish power that's supposedly protecting them? Go into Google, which changed its birthday to coincide with the birthday of the Special Forces of the Catholic Church, the Jesuits, September 27th. And you type in who rules the world behind the scenes, and it pops up. I don't know if AI does this. I have to test this myself. But the regular website, Rothschild, Red Shield. Who took the Red Shield into battle? Romans did. The progenitor of the Rothschilds empire, Meyer Rothschild, he created a company that he named Meyer Amschel Rothschild und Son. Now, why would he maneuver the name of his conglomerate to spell the acronym Mars, the god of war? Well, as the myth and legend goes, he was given insider knowledge on Waterloo and who beat Napoleon Bonaparte. We love him so much we just call him Napoleon, don't you know? How Napoleon was also going to take a dive. He was given insider knowledge and information that he was able to trade with and wheel and deal, and suddenly he shot into prominence. Now who did that? How did he get inside information, especially given that Napoleon Bonaparte wasn't French? He was Italian, Roman Catholic, and a Freemason, and his consigliere, his confidant, was a Roman Catholic priest named Emmanuel Joseph Sias. So it would certainly seem that if there was anybody that would give Meyer Amschel Rothschild inside information, it would be possibly the Catholic Church.
Like you said, there's so many layers to get through in a limited amount of time. The best place you think to start so that the audience can get a good picture of the deepest layers, because my audience has been taken through the basics of things, so they have a pretty good understanding of the false reality being presented, but going deeper than that, I always enjoy those perspectives.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad to go deep on this. I'm not even just done my bio background. It's always connected. It's always rabbit trails. It's always spider webs, but it's instructive. So I'll finish that story and Illuminati, and I start to look for myself, and I finally see a name, Johann Adam Weishaupt. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, Johann Adam Weishaupt. Let's see here. Family was Jewish, but converted hard to the Catholic Church. Oh, really? And what did they do? Well, they gave little Johann Adam to the Jesuits to train. Really? And he stayed with the Jesuits so long that he became one. And I have multiple sources. Very few people will say whether or not Weishaupt was an ordained Jesuit. Most people, and I think that they're gatekeeping, Most people say, oh, he left the Jesuits. He hated the Jesuits, like Voltaire, right? Arouet, what's his real name? Jean Marie. John Mary Arouet. Is that Voltaire's real name? Anyway, he hated the Jesuits too, even though he basically was one, right? And he took the crimes of the Catholic Church and called them the crimes of Christianity, just like a Jesuit would. Interestingly, because Christianity is not Catholicism; they are absolutely mutually exclusive. So I'm looking, and very, very few people are mentioning the name, but Illuminati, and now I have a name, and I can trace, and this word Jesuit comes up. What? Really interesting. Oh, turns out that Johann Adam Weishaupt, that I found a source as an ordained Jesuit. Okay, he hated the Jesuits. Then why did he teach canon law, the precepts of the Catholic Church? He taught them. He knew them so well. He taught them at Jesuit Ingolstadt University in modern Munich. Interesting. So I'm actually finding names, places, and dates that supersede all the smoke and mirrors. Munich, the birthplace of the Third Reich. The birthplace of the Third Reich. I have files, stacks of files on how Nazism came out of Munich. The beer hall push that was the military coup that sought to install Adolf Hitler out of Munich. Everybody is Catholic, Jesuit trained and coming from Munich. Munich is an island of Roman Catholicism in Protestant Germany. So I took this information. I said, okay, now we finally have real hard data. I learned when I was going to school and public University of New Mexico that you just can't have an opinion. If you want to argue with someone, and I eventually would go on to write columns for the university newspaper, if everybody's got an opinion, as a saying, buttholes, everybody has an opinion. Okay. It's much more powerful if you can cite sources, have other respected people or sources make your claims for you. So I learned back then that I needed to have sources, names, places, and dates. That's how you, if you're able to convince someone, that's how you're going to do it. And that's the way it should be. So I wrote an article that did very well at the time. It was like Before It's News. I posted on Before It's News, and there was like a great reception. Before It's News, before I was shadow banned. And from there, I felt like, okay, well, I guess I had been blogging since I was in college, and I had plenty of experience, and I felt obligated to write a book over this because I'm finding all kinds of information that no one's talking about. I'm finding all roads do still lead to Rome. So that was the impetus of Illuminati Unmasked back in 2015. And I've just been focusing on doing my own, because what we're talking about earlier, you're looking for truth, right? There's a machine built on lies, a machine of slavery. It owns everything. If you're thinking that the official version of the moon landing, that the official version of the Kennedy assassination, that the official version of 9/11, fill in the blank, that they're bunk. Okay, you look deeper. The official version of the pandemic, the official version of Sandy Hook, the official version of the Las Vegas bump stock killer. All of that seems sketchy to you. You do a little bit of digging, and you see more sketchy, more concerns. Clearly, there is a vast difference between the official story and what you think actually happened. This is the call of truth seeking. Now, another intuitive question. The machine is way ahead of us. Okay. The machine is way ahead of us. Just like, was it Captain America, Winter Soldier, where they talk about the Disney on the cutting edge. Oh, by the way, Thanos, the glove of Thanos. Look up Saint Teresa of Avila, the Roman Catholic saint. and look up her reliquary. Look up the golden glove of Saint Teresa of Avila, and you'll see Thanos's glove. Wait, whoa! I thought Jews run Hollywood. Disney, the Leviathan of Disney that has the power to gobble up everything, but Star Wars, Marvel, you name it. And how about this? Leo O'Donovan, the collared Jesuit that swore in Roman Catholic far-left Joe Biden. Leo O'Donovan was the president of the board of Disney. He must be, he's a crypto Jew. Come on, that's crazy. Are you kidding me? Okay, how about the rule book? All right, the Hollywood's run by Jews. Just ask hyper devout Catholic Mel Gibson. Just ask Jewish Michael Richards out there saying it's the Jews. Gary Oldman, it's the Jews. And on the surface, when you see all the producers who were Jewish managing the show, you might walk away with that if you're not discerning. If you don't know that the motion picture code, the rule book that allows you to publish movies, was written by a collared Jesuit, Daniel Aloysius Lord, the aptly inversely gaslit name S.J. Daniel Lord. Interesting. I thought it was the Jews running. Or you can go back to the Motion Picture Association that was once presided over by Christopher Dodd, Mr. Housing Bubble corruption fame, who left Congress to become president of the Motion Picture Association. And he is far left Roman Catholic, just like his daddy Thomas Dodd, far left FBI Nazi hater, Nazi fighter for the FBI. Thomas Dodd went to Nuremberg with another collared Jesuit, one of the most powerful Jesuits of his time, if not all time, a guy by the name of Edmund Walsh, in a United States Army uniform, as a United States representative of the United States Army. I've got the pictures. Look up Thomas Dodd, who probably owned by Alamy by now. I've got the pictures of Thomas Dodd and collared Jesuit Edmund Walsh, after whom the Georgetown School of Foreign Service is named, in Nuremberg.
I grew up Roman Catholic, and I've been doing this long enough to see the profound connections and the layers of power that the Catholic Church really does hold. And it likes to slink into the background, and right now, like you said, Jews are being thrown under the bus as the global enemy. It seems quite intentional. They don't just let these things happen organically. This is something that seems to have been planned for a very, very long time. But let's look at the deeper belief systems of these groups. When we say Catholics, that's really not what we're talking about whenever we're looking at their belief system, which seems to be much older, has very occult implications, and linked back to ancient civilizations and belief systems that are being hidden under the guise of Catholicism. But talk a little bit about your understanding of the
Absolutely
true belief system.
If you want to dig even deeper, there's a must-have book by Alexander Hislop called Two Babylons, and it goes deep into the parallels, how Roman Catholicism is actually a syncretistic mix of Judaism, Babylonian paganism, Greek mythology with the trappings of Christianity. So we have this Isis Horus, actually Isis Horus Serapis is the Trinity, and Osiris is supposedly Horus's father, but the Isis Horus Serapis, IHS, in the Jesuit logo is Isis Horus Serapis. Nimrod, Semiramis, hope I'm saying it right, Semiramis, and Tammuz. Okay, so we have this Trinity thing going on that runs very deep. And if you compare that with modern evangelical Christianity, there is a huge divide between Catholic beliefs and biblical Christian beliefs. And it's because of these roots going deep into paganism, Luciferianism. For instance, one of the reasons why the Templars it was easy for Philippe le Bel, Philip IV of France, it was relatively easy for him to go after them because there were incidents of Templars spitting on the cross and having weird rites that they did behind the scenes, and they were crazy wealthy. They were crazy wealthy because they were the first bankers, not the Jews. The Templars were the first bankers. And part of this was Johannism, another weird offshoot of doctrine that elevated John the Baptist as the real Messiah and Jesus of Nazareth as a pretender. And it was this Johannism that one of the reasons why John Baptist is a very common name amongst especially ethnic Catholics, third world Catholics. Jean-Baptiste Aristide, right? But one example of the many. Okay, this is actually a weird heretical doctrine that de-emphasizes Jesus of Nazareth. Pardon me. So yes, Roman Catholicism has roots into something way beyond Christianity. Hey, we're coming up on Christ Mass that is celebrated during the winter solstice. Yep. Where you burn a Yule log, which is actually a child, and you imply sex under the mistletoe. Okay, none of this is Christian. None of this is Christian. It's actually that there is a guy that was he's passed now, Michael Heiser, that taught at the University, Donald Trump's University of Pennsylvania, which I have information that is actually secretly controlled by the Jesuits, possibly from its inception of good old Hellfire Club Benjamin Franklin. Michael Heiser did research that a likely birth date for Jesus was September 11th, which there's all kinds of esoteric skullduggery there. So, there are so many differences. The emphasis of the Queen of Heaven, the woman with the child, whereas strict doctrinal Christianity says you are only saved by a living relationship with Jesus Christ. But Catholicism thoroughly de-emphasizes that and says, no, here's his mother. Here's baby Jesus in the arms of his mother. Here's the Pieta. Here's dead Jesus in the arms of his mother. It's his mother. She is co-redemptrix, co-mediatrix. And supposedly that's going to change under the new Chicago Pope. I don't know. We'll see. But this is why the Roman Catholic Church forbade the Bible for 1,000 years, the true meaning of the Dark Ages. If you were caught with a Bible and you weren't a cleric, you were given over to the Inquisition, certainly after the Inquisition was started, run by the Dominicans and then taken over by the Jesuits. This is what, if you've ever heard of Fox's Book of Martyrs, Fox's Book of Martyrs is entirely about the Catholic Church torturing and slaughtering Christians. Who were the Crusades? The Crusades were those evil Christians killing Muslims and Jews. No, the Crusades were the Catholic Church killing enemies of the Catholic Church. And the number one enemy of the Catholic Church, not Jews, not Muslims, Christians. Was it Urban? I have to find which pope it was that initiated the crusade into Europe to mass murder the Valdenses, the Albigenses. These were Bible-believing Christians that were hiding in the Alps, and sent soldiers, of course, other nations' soldiers, crusaders, to slaughter them. They weren't soldiers themselves. They didn't have a military. They were slaughtered. They were murdered, thrown off the peaks of the Alps. Women, children. Nobody knows this stuff. And when you dig this, it's shocking. It's shocking. Have you heard of the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, where we had Catherine de' Medici, the Italian Roman Catholic Queen of France, who had engineered with her Jesuit confessor mass murder of the Huguenot Protestant French, mass murder to sucker them in during the marriage of ostensibly evangelical Protestant Henry of Navarre, good King Henry IV. And so Christians, Huguenots, were suckered into Paris for the celebration of this wedding. And it was pre-engineered for them to be trapped there and mass murdered. Mass murder. They closed off the access way, the roads, and all the Catholic civilians in French Paris joined the slaughter. And one of the Gregories was Pope at the time, I believe. He was so happy with what happened that he commissioned a medal to commemorate the mass murder of Huguenots. Whenever you hear of a war of religion, Protestants versus Catholics, the troubles in Ireland, no. The word that best describes what happens in the war of religion is slaughter of Christians by the Catholic Church. And I submit to you that from what I've seen, if there's any legitimacy to so-called Protestant bombings or mass murders, that it's engineered, that British Freemasonry is behind it. It's intuitive. It's intuitive. It's not Christian. Okay? It's not Christian to do that. It's Christian to stand up against tyranny. Absolutely. It's not Christian to bomb innocents and anyway, we can go back to the potato famines of Ireland and show how they were engineered by Freemasonic Britain, Protestant Britain, to push waves of Irish immigrants to America. For who? Who does that benefit? That benefits the Catholic Church, just like wave after wave after wave of Hispanic Roman Catholics today, unassimilated, benefits the Catholic Church. How the Catholic Church, this is intuitive, Chris, how the Catholic Church gets away with insane amounts of crime. The mass rape of your children. The mass rape of your children. Systemic. These are war crimes, Chris.
100%.
Systemic. The mass rape of your children with the collusion of the government. I highly recommend, even though it's propaganda to a degree, the 2015 movie Spotlight in relation to the exposure of the pedophile ring in Boston was starting with John Gagin. And the propaganda of it is that the Jesuit-trained Catholics of the Boston Globe actually finally were forced to do their job by a circuit-riding Jewish editor. And all of that is a psychological operation. What really happened was this was allowed to hit the mainstream news because people were starting to get sick of how the cops and the journalists just didn't seem to want to do their job. So they had to get their credibility back. And this was done. And you notice how the priests who were ever arrested, they're drooling. They're in their 80s. They're drooling on themselves. They had decades of raping kids. And some of them are already dead. And then we'll have an investigation. Hey, let's look at another must-see. The Keepers from, I was going to say Jesuit flicks, I call them Jesuit flicks all the time, Netflix. Okay? 50 years after the trafficking of kids at Archbishop Keough High School in Baltimore, Maryland, Lord Baltimore, the Roman Catholic aristocrat commissioned by Protestant King of England. I think it was which one? George the third. I don't know. Was it George the Third? Commissioned by the Protestant King of England to create a colony by Catholics for Catholics, Maryland, and the capital, Maryland, is named after him, Lord Baltimore. And this is where the kids were being massacred with the collusion. The oh my goodness, Anthony. Let's see here. Priest, Archbishop, Keough, Anthony Maskell came down. I have to find him. Anthony Maskell, who was a linchpin there and mass rapist. He just traumatized. Watch a 7-part series. It's really upsetting. And we're watching this 50 years after the events. Where are the cops? Where are the prosecutors? Well, one of the prosecutors, a black female, is driving around her red sports car. It was gifted by the Roman Catholic Church. Love and life. Okay? This is systemic. You go to any nation, Canada, Australia. Here's the what I've found. And this is, I showed this in my third book, Eaters of Children. The methodology is that the Catholic Church will have her fill. Oranges and Sunshine, by the way, is another must-watch movie about the trafficking of children to Australia by the Catholic Church for the Christian brothers, that they were slave labor during the day and they were sex slaves by night. Insane. And what they would do with the help of the secular government, decades after the mass rape, often torture, and sometimes murder of these children, the secular government, they'll have a commission. They'll convene a committee. They'll do a report, and they'll get on it. They'll get right on it. 50 years after the crimes have been committed.
It's insane.
And then they'll show you. They'll publish that report. Okay. A little late now.
Yeah.
Why don't you arrest after it happens, after it first comes to light? Now they're dead, they're drooling, they're gone. And here's another interesting thing that I've noticed is that the only ones ever mentioned or arrested, they're always entry-level priests. If they're mentioned at all, entry-level priests.
Yeah.
Unless you've got somebody hugely powerful and successful like George Pell, who's been accused, and the accusations are dramatically reduced. Instead of mass rape, it was he touched a little boy in the public pool, on the buttocks. And then turns out that George Pell's accuser died before the trial. I hate when that happens.
There's obviously layers and layers of theater being put out to steer the masses in certain directions. But what is the end game of these groups? Where are they truly trying to steer us? You hear depopulation, transhumanism, AI governance. There are so many possibilities. It's probably a little bit of all of those, but what's your understanding of the real deal of what they're trying to achieve?
Well, Chris, good news and bad news. The bad news is they already own it all. When you hear about who is that guy that looks like Mr. Evil? Yeah, it's not. It's really hard for me to find it. Anyway, the sad fact is that they already own it all, Chris. They already own it all. So when you hear about reset, who's the guy that coined the term?
Klaus Schwab?
Yeah, there he is. Thank you. Klaus Schwab. Turns out that Klaus Schwab's, and I can pull this up real quick. Klaus Schwab's inspiration came from a Roman Catholic bishop, Dom Helder Tamara, a Roman Catholic archbishop of Brazil. Isn't that interesting? Mr. Evil, Dr. Evil, Mr. Reset. So when you hear things that scare you like reset, that's the good news and the bad news. The bad news is they already own it all. The good news is they're not likely to upset the apple cart unless, Chris, you're doing too good of a job. If you're doing too good of a job exposing them, then they're going to need a distraction. They're going to need a race war. They're going to need Nazi Jews. They're going to need a lot of people angry at the wrong thing. And that is their end game. That's their end game. The recent unpleasantries, I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Say whatever you want, man.
Where you like. let's just say the pandemic was a massive attempt to rein in. Now, interestingly enough, it targeted the wrong people. It targeted the people that don't ask questions. But the people that don't ask questions can someday start asking questions, so they're still sort of dangerous. This was a desire to cull the useless eaters, an agenda to cull the useless eaters. That there's no such thing as a virus. They have never been isolated. When you look up virus isolation, it's insane. So real quick, health, and this is part of the end game. Health and sickness. What is the medical industrial Rockefeller complex tell you is all involved with health and sickness? Well, it's genetics. Oh no. Well, it's this little teeny tiny thing you can't see. You have to trust the experts. Trust the experts. We're going to take a sample from your body and then we're going to throw it in with monkey kidney cells. We're going to throw it in with fetal bovine serum. What?
Yeah.
Satanic are you? Then we're going to spin it around a test tube. It'll look really sciencey. We'll spin it around a test tube and then we'll heat it up and then we'll cool it off and then we'll put acid in it and then we'll put in let's see, monkey kidney cells and fetal bovine. Yeah, right. All of this. And then when we're done, we'll strain it out like we're panning for gold. And what will be left is something you still can't see. Trust us, this little teeny tiny thing, this is what really makes you sick. Has nothing to do with eating crap, with thimerosal in your vaccines. Oh, by the way, did you happen to know that it's illegal if you are paralyzed, or if God forbid, if you have a child in a hospital and the first thing they do is load your infant, your beautiful baby, up with 17 vaccines, and suddenly the baby gets autism, and you suspect that this was from all these vaccines? Well, it is illegal to sue them. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Isn't that a great deal? There's no industry anywhere in the world that has blanket liability coverage like that. No industry anywhere in the world. And the United States government did that. That's why Bill Gates is the vaccinator. What the heck does he know about vaccination? Well, what he said at a TED Talk was that they're going to use vaccines to reduce population. Well, wait a minute. Hang on. I thought vaccines are going to make you healthy, and that actually will end up increasing population. No, Bill said he's going to use vaccines to reduce population. Really? Well, what's in the vaccine? It's a secret. You're not allowed to know. Even if you sue them, even if, God forbid, your baby's mind was stolen and you now have an invalid that you have to take care of for the rest of her life into adulthood, you now have to take care of your child because vaccines stole that child's brain, because it has nothing to do with health. What has to do with health are your habits, spending too much time on Wi-Fi, on the cell phone, on the computer, eating glyphosate, eating vegetables sprayed with Monsanto's glyphosate. Oh, by the way, Monsanto founded by an Irish Roman Catholic named after his Hispanic Roman Catholic wife, Monsanto. Oh, wait a minute. He must have been a crypto Jew. That can't be right. He must have been a crypto Jew. The organizations, some of the most evil organizations in the world, are in the United States government. One of the reasons why I got out of the military. The CIA and the FBI. The CIA and the FBI.
Yeah.
Some of the most evil organizations in the world. There's a great scene in the Marky Mark movie, Spencer Confidential, another remake. By the way, Marky Mark Wahlberg, he's Jewish. Oh, no, he's a very devout Roman Catholic. Another Hollywood guy. This is crazy. You're seen in Spencer Confidential, where the FBI doesn't solve crime, it manages crime. Oh, more than you know, pal. More than you know. They like to let secrets out every once in a while, tease you with that, especially if they think you're not listening or paying attention. The Federal Bureau of Inquisition, founded by Charles Joseph Bonaparte, the great grandnephew of Napoleon Bonaparte, and he was a hyper devout daily mass Roman Catholic, just like a pedophile by the name of Jimmy Savile. a hyper devout, and nobody knew anything about Jimmy's mass raping of kids with the help of the British government and the Roman Catholic Church. And nobody knew anything about it. And even today, nobody knows that he was a hyper devout Roman Catholic, would pray in Latin while he raped kids. His victims would say that.
So as it relates to the end game that you were speaking about, basically you're saying that it's all about protecting their power and keeping the train going?
This is just like I constantly complain about how I was raised on comic books as a kid, constantly complaining about how there was a little ray of inspiration with some of the early comic book movies, some of the early Marvel movies. Was like, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty entertaining. That's close. That's close to inspiration, which is what the comic books really were supposed to be anyway. And there's plenty of spin there too. But this is what Batman has become. Batman is the vigilante whose job it is to beat down other more dangerous vigilantes and protect the status quo. That is the role, isn't it? Isn't that what Batman does? And they really muddy the waters now. The most recent Robert Pattinson Batman movie, the people that are revolting and committing criminal acts. Wait a minute, that looks like me. The ones in Joker, the people that revolted in the Joker movie. Wait, yeah, I want to flip cars over tyranny. Yes. This is by design. This muddy the waters. Oh, this goes back to 91, 93, the Michael Douglas movie Falling Down. Yeah. Everything that would anger the typical white male. And he gets up and he tries to fight back, and then he goes and does stupid things where he was sort of on your side, and now you're like, oh no, he's not on my side. Oh, we hate that guy. Mm-hmm. This is their desire. This is the end game. The end game is to protect because they already own it all. So we have to carefully charge forward and continue to expose them. But as we say in the military, keep your head on a swivel, because their goal is they do not want to drag it all down. And this is only at the very, 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 very top, tiny 0.00001% of the true believers that are Satan worshipers that are all in. Underneath of them are millions of cogs at varying levels of blackmail and gilded cage prisoners that you can scare them if you can scare them with certain things. Oh, well, we have to let off a nuclear bomb to really get it done. And there are going to be some insider corruptocrats that, okay, they're going to draw the line. Okay, listen, I don't mind trafficking kids, but I don't want to like mass murder millions of people. And that's a whole other issue, whether or not nuclear bombs are a thing. And there's a lot of information that says they're not, which is why they'll do a movie. Anytime you want to reinforce dinosaurs and nuclear bombs and space travel and all that, let's do a movie and it'll make it real. How do you know it's real? I just saw it in a movie. So, yeah, this is their end game. Long and short of it, Chris, is their end game is to protect what they have. And it's only with how scared you make them. And they are scared, Chris. The new normal of censorship that occurred with the scamdemic, it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. People are like, well, yeah, I can fly again. I'm okay. I promise you, it is the new normal. This new level of censorship, it is Orwellian. In the West, it is Orwellian. And this is an indicator of just how scared they are. Just how scared they are over guys like you, Chris, over guys like you. So our goal is to continue to rattle their cage, but also to be aware. I'm not huge into prepping, but I do recommend some entry level, minor level of 2 weeks, probably 2 months if you can do it. Have a generator, but really the war, the battle is the information war, and the best thing we could do, hope for. They wrote The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Oh yeah, it was what they claim, I don't know, 1300, whatever ridiculous idea, never existed. The Chinese general Sun Tzu never existed, but turns out it was a Jesuit in the 1700s that translated The Art of War. I highly recommend another book that a must have outside of my books, of course, Rulers of Evil by Frederick Tupper Saucy III. Absolute must have. He gives the breakdown of how Art of War was almost certainly written by Cirucci, the superior general of the Jesuits at the time. And it was his bragging rights over the success of the American Revolution, how they had engineered all of that because prior to the American Revolution, the Catholic Church, where do I go? How deep do I go on this? From Christian doctrine, there is the 4 beasts of Daniel chapter 7, a vision that Daniel receives to confirm the vision of King Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 2 of the great statue of 4 different metals. And most scholars agree that the 4 different metals, the gold, the silver, the brass, and the iron, are the 4 empires of Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. And this was confirmed for Daniel in a separate vision to him later on of the beasts. Lion with wings was Babylon. See if I can get this right off of memory. Bear that was up on one side, Medo-Persia. And then a leopard, a really fast cat that was Greece. And then something terrible that was different from any other previous, some kind of dragon-like thing that he couldn't describe. And the reason why this 4th and final beast, this Rome, was so different and so terrible is that, I don't know how you or your audience, whether you guys are into multi-dimensional occurrences, spirit realm kind of thing, that there are things going on behind the scenes. There are things that explain, such as the overwhelming. So if you question the cosmology, if you do your own research, if you go across a body of like Lake Michigan and you realize that the supposed curvature of the earth, because you have a laser and you can put it across Lake Michigan or the Suez Canal, 100 miles, and you're not seeing any evidence of a curvature. Okay. If you do your own research, you look at the sun and the moon and they look kind of close and they look kind of like the same size. No. The experts say that's an optical illusion. It just so happens that the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon. And by coincidence, happens to be 400 times further away from the moon. And it's an optical illusion. Who are you going to believe? You're going to believe your own eyes? You're going to believe the experts.
Right.
Okay. So if you start questioning things like whether or not we're on a spinning globe and you're seeing evidence that we're not, now step back. Look at evolution. The insanity of the theory of evolution, that there's nothing in the universe that contravenes the second law of thermodynamics, which says everything has a natural tendency to go from order to chaos, except the theory of evolution that says from a pool of sludge, you have the insane complexity of a human body over mutations over time. Meanwhile, there's no evidence. It's not science. It's not the scientific method. It's not observable, testable, repeatable. You cannot duplicate evolution. It's not science. And yet it is taught with a death grip, a white knuckle death grip in the classroom. Now you step back and you look at the success of these lies where everyone teaches. Look at how the nations around the world fell in with the scamdemic. Insane. Tell the healthy to quarantine themselves. Are you out of your mind? Tell the healthy to put on a mask and make themselves sick. What? Tell the healthy that they need a shot, that we're not going to tell them what's in the shot. Are you kidding me? Look at the insane success. All nations around the world, 1 or 2 nations like Tanzania with Roman Catholic John Magufuli, who kind of smelled something not right there and said, let me submit my own tests here. Let's do some motor oil and let's do some Jello pudding and they all came back positive. Yeah. Well, shortly after that, poor Roman Catholic John Magufuli fell on the knife 14 times, as we like to say in the city. Fell on the knife 14 times, as we say in the city. And his replacement fell right in line on the Corona hoax. Fell right in line. Oh, Corona? That's the Roman Catholic saint. viruses, I think. Crazy. Wait a minute. Oh, here's one for you. All right. You believe me that these little teeny tiny things, look, here's a CGI image of the little teeny tiny thing that's going to kill you. Okay. A CGI image. What? Wait, this is a CGI image. Now, go look up collared Jesuit Athanasius Kircher and look up his drawing of the veins of the earth and put them up side by side with a supposed electron microscope CGI image of the corona hoax. They're a mirror image. They're a mirror, and they're laughing at you. They're laughing at you. Athanasius Kircher, the brilliant polymath Athanasius Kircher, the veins of the earth, right? That in and of itself was ridiculous. And so they honor that and commemorate that, just like the glove of Thanos, Saint Avila of Thanos, Saint Thanos of Avila is what I like to say. Saint Thanos of Avila. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's the Jews, Johnny. It's the Jews. So that's it. And this is what drives me, Chris. This is what drives me. Nobody's talking about this stuff. Dude, we can do a whole nother hour on the name and the face of the corona hoax. Anthony Jesuit trained Fauci, Italian Roman Catholic, Anthony Jesuit trained Fauci. He's also the name and face of HIV/AIDS.
There are so many layers to this and so little time, but we'll definitely have to revisit this. Before we close out, though, what are your final thoughts about navigating the madness that we're experiencing right now?
That is actually a spiritual venture, because that on the one hand, it's surreal in that you see this Leviathan standing over you. By the way, CIA also created by a Roman Catholic, Knight of Malta, Wall Street lawyer, Mild Bill Donovan. He's Wild Bill Donovan to everybody else. He's Mild Bill Donovan to me. It's the Jews, Johnny. It's surreal what you can do, and how simply taking a stand, you would think, I'm going to get massacred. I'm going to get arrested. If I tell, like that adorable Polish pastor up in Canada that threw out the people trying to stop his service throughout the government, right? And scream at the government, get out of my church, get out of my church. And he was arrested a couple of times, but they had to release him. They don't want their lies to come to the surface. I don't recommend fighting them on their ground. I don't recommend taking this course and you can win in court. No. Don't try that. But don't be afraid to take a stand. That's the surreal thing. Now, me personally, as a born-again Christian, I feel that extra bit of confidence that I've got somebody bigger standing behind me, like really big standing behind me. You all have to find your own course. And I do want to tell you, they are terrified of you. They are terrified of you. This is why they did the scamdemic. Okay. This is why the censorship is still Orwellian to this day. They're terrified of you. Okay. You have the moral authority. They will fall and run, just like it's predicted in the Bible. One man will put a flight to 1,000 because you have the moral authority and they live a life of lies and corruption. So don't look for it. Don't seek out confrontation. But if confrontation finds you, take heart in being right and take a stand. And from me, a Christian perspective, there's no guarantee where it'll happen other than, for me as a Christian, is that whatever happens, you will be your greatest good, Romans 8:28 and Romans 8:29. If you rely on him, it could be jail, could be anything. I live with this all the time. Like, not wait for the knock on the door. Yeah, Mr. Cirucci. Yeah, right. Did you say this on your show on September 25th? Yeah, I think about it all the time, dude. I think about it all the time. And does that mean that I'm never gonna? No. That a lot of good people go to jail all the time. Okay, but certainly this is for your greater good to grow. Don't be afraid to take a stand. Don't be. All it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to say and do nothing.
There it is.
Don't seek out confrontation, but if it finds you, take a stand and do the right thing.
Right on, man. Johnny, thank you so much. We will definitely be doing this again, following up. There's so much more to get to. Before I let you go, remind the audience how they can find out more.
JohnnyCirucci.com, JohnnyCirucci.com. I've got contact there, Johnny@JohnnyCirucci.com. Everything I do is gratis, as our lawyer friends would say, using the language of Rome. So if you want to donate, there's a donate portion support tab on JohnnyCirucci.com. You can find my 5 books: Illuminati Unmasked, Secret History, Eaters of Children, Romans of Mass Destruction, and Disciples of Ra, on the medical industry and pandemics. You can still find them on Leviathan, CIA Amazon, also known as Amazon. I had to publish independently because no one would touch my work. And I maintain, been kicked off of YouTube long ago. I maintain a Rumble channel. I maintain Odyssey. I maintain a BitChute, UgTube, Brighteon. They're all either under Johnny Cirucci or Resistance Rising, the name of my show. So I think that's pretty much. I got kicked off of Facebook and banned, not allowed to come back, not allowed to create a new account. I had a buddy create one remotely and give it to me, so I'm back on
Right
Facebook. I'm allowed to be on Twitter because no one sees me on Twitter. Most everything else I've been banned. I've been knocked out of Discord. I've been knocked out of Instagram. It's stuff I don't even use. You know, it's crazy. It's vicious, Chris, vicious. I had like 5, 10, 15 people tops in my Discord server. Nope, too much, gone. The server's gone. Your profile's gone. All that. Just
they popped
vicious
my YouTube
censorship.
channel, 32,000 subscribers. Last month, it was 2 years gone. Last month, I get an email. Oh, we made a mistake. You're getting your channel back. But still, 32,000 subscribers, about 100 views per video, maybe 200 views per video.
They win, Chris. You see that. Yeah. They win. Every time they reset you, even if they grant you to come back, they've still won because they reset you, and your subscribers drop off all the time. Like, dude, I was subscribed. How am I unsubscribed? I'm getting no notifications because I'm not subscribed anymore. What happened? You know, so just keep doing what you're doing, pal. You stand for what's right, and you keep doing what you're doing. And by the way, that was how you can get
right on, man. Excellent. Well, like I said, we'll be doing it again. And until next time, everyone have an excellent evening. We will talk again tomorrow. We'll see y'all all then. Hello, friends. I am so excited to tell you about Independent Media Token. Independent Media Token is a brand new way to show your support for independent media without having to donate a dime. Independent Media Token is a cryptocurrency on the Solana blockchain designed to generate funds to promote and foster the growth of independent content creators, allowing them to engage in their art without having to worry about being demonetized. Through a network of media partners, of which you yourself can become a part of, Independent Media Token's goal is to ensure the powers that be can never cut off all of our areas of funding and censor the only free voices left in the world. Join the movement today. You can pick up Independent Media Token using Phantom Wallet or the Solana wallet of your choice, where you can easily swap your Solana for IMT. Grab some IMT today and remember to always know your team. To learn more, visit independentmediatoken.com or use the link right in the description. Are you and your family prepared for an emergency? Maybe the fake alien invasion? Now is the time to prepare yourself and your family for any event. Check out Prep Starts Now. Their mission is to provide high-quality preparedness products that empower individuals and families to be ready for any situation. They're committed to delivering reliable, trusted gear to ensure your safety, security, and peace of mind in times of need. Their product selection is carefully curated to provide you with the essential gear you need to stay prepared. From emergency kits to tactical tools, every item is chosen for its reliability and practicality. Prep Starts Now understands the importance of family, and their goal is to equip you with everything you need to build a solid plan for your family's preparedness. In today's ever-changing world, being prepared is more important than ever, and Prep Starts Now is here to help you and your family stay ready with quality products and practical guidance. Use the link in the description and get 15% off your order. If you're looking to start your therapeutic microdosing journey, but don't know where to start, especially when looking for the highest quality ingredients, including nootropics, and what you'd expect from a true microdose capsule. Check out our friends at Brainsupreme. They offer the absolute highest quality ingredients so you can start your microdosing journey knowing that you're getting top-notch ingredients. To find out more, visit their website using that link right in the description, and you can get 15% off your entire order.